Hey, peace. Welcome back. Or welcome to Secret House Against. Peace. It's just me, Mega, today. I wanted to hop in and give you guys a little bit of an update on the upcoming videos that we have for you guys. And maybe a couple other things. I don't know. I just hopped out the shower, getting ready for work here in Tokyo. Thank you guys for joining in. So first off, the first video I want to let you guys know about this coming to the channel is going to be our collaborative podcast with, not a collaborative podcast, we were guests on Scattershot's podcast, The Sonic Cloth, which is the tagline is deep listening, and what he does is he does deep dives on all genres of music, but he brought us in to do a deep dive on the Billy Woods catalog from 2017 up until Church. We plan on getting all the way to Maps, but the conversation was 3 hours long and I had to head to work, and so we decided to maybe do Maps another day, but also probably collaborate on the new upcoming Arm & Hammer album that drops later this month. We sell diabetic test strips. I wanted to take this opportunity to let you guys know that I feel you should go listen to the podcast, his podcast, instead of just watching the video. He's going to be adding a lot of song clips to the things we're talking about, lyrics and such, and I think that that's really going to add to the experience, and I think it's also one of the things that separates his approach from a lot of other people who do similar things. Also, he's a leftist, he's a comrade, which I was pleasantly surprised to find about, but we're rocking with him 100%. He's got some great videos on there. I believe I mentioned the Anticon video before, Chat Pile, a variety of things, and he's just a really great dude with a sharp mind for music, and just dope. So go check that out, man. It's like 3 hours. I think that video dropped this week. Maybe it depends on when he releases his podcast. I'll put up the video right after that. That's the first joint coming. As far as actual album reviews featuring me and Jet, this week we're going to be touching 4 projects. The first project is Jason Griff and Zilla Rocka's Stacking Chips LP. And we're also going to touch on Overcast, his Reset EP. There's a Guilty Simpson and Uncommon NASA EP that's only like 3 songs. We want to touch on that too. Shout out to Uncommon NASA. And also the Blue and Real Bad Man Bad News LP, or maybe it's an EP. I think it's only like 8 songs. All these are pretty short projects outside of the Zilla Rocka and Jason Griff joint. Already off rip, I recommend all 3 of these to everybody. Of course, I think people will like them for a variety, like them or dislike them for a variety of different reasons. I personally am rocking in totality. Like I really enjoy them. As usual, I want to give a shout out to our comrade over at Caltrops Press, link in the bio. He's doing some of the best writing possible when it comes to underground independent music. Also, they're in zine form, so he does interviews. Go check out the Tumblr, link in the bio. Just a really dope dude. Support him if you can, support him if you can't, just by sharing and discussing those type of his work. It's really phenomenal. Also, as you can see, I got my Noname book club poster in the back here. Shout out to Noname and her project to promote and bring books to people who are incarcerated, particularly revolutionary radical leftist literature. We're on board with that 100%. Last and not least, before I get out of here, I want to let you guys know that the album that I'm playing in the background, these ill-ass beats, are from Brycon and the homie Il Sugi here in Tokyo. They put out a new collaborative project that is called Devastation, or Devastating, Devastating Forces of Nature. And I've been playing these beats on repeat quite a bit. Brycon is a person who I wasn't familiar with. I think he's out in the States and not here in Tokyo. But man, some of his beats are phenomenal. I've been rapping my ass off to these on the low by myself, coming home after a highball or 2, which I like to do and stack words. Super fire, super dope. And last but not least, I was looking around and I noticed that it is the 23rd anniversary of Aesop Rocks Float album. I know a lot of you probably joined this channel because of our Aesop Rock reviews, and as you can see in the background, I've got the Impossible Kid poster. That was the last vinyl I bought from him. Of course, I've defaced it, or I had homies deface it. Cats like Remixer behind me. I've got Sano, a lot of graffiti artists, even Chris Mosdell, who used to do a lot of the writing for Yellow Magic Orchestra. Great dude. He's also written for Michael Jackson. But that's besides the point. I love Aesop Rock. I've been a big fan of his since I got this album way back in the day. I feel like I got Flow right around the time it dropped, and I was one of the few cats at the school who was really championing him. He really surprised me with his wordplay. Of course, I had been subjected to a lot of really wordy, dope, strange, idiosyncratic, uncanny MCs. Even, on that East Coast lineage, like, your Big Just or your Company Flows and things. But he blew my mind with the production him and Blockhead put on that, and it's probably my favorite Aesop Rock album to this day. I think perhaps that has a lot to do with that whole situation where the music you're subjected to at certain times in your life just speaks to you longer and stays with you for different reasons. But I still love that one today. And man, I think some of the wordplay shit that he's doing on that are just like the greatest he's ever done. He's really changed his style up, and I would say he's even a bit more legible. You're able to understand him a little bit more these days. But the cadences that he was rocking on that album are just incredible. Hold on, I mean, I haven't put the album on in a minute. I'll just scroll through and see if I could find something like Commencement, Obedience Academy. The way that shit starts off was just so incredible. And in fact, speaking of Chris Mosdell, I put his ass onto Aesop Rock, and he was surprised. He had no idea that rap was doing these things, because
the harvest appeared less plentiful than last season. I imagine sloppy seed handling evoked a stroke of tardy planting, and the crop sweet of hardest mid-November. It only brushed the blossom bracket, then soon sacrificed lives to high school jackets. When
yeah, man. So incredible. So incredible, this album. It's just hold on, man. Yeah, I put Chris Mazda onto it. He's a poet, incredible poet, but he was like, what the fuck?
I'm a time I walk alone and miss the bliss inside the accidental meeting of the pencil and the ceiling, and the central started beating, breathing at a rapid caliber. I died for a lot of grace to last forevermore. Just another dream to be an autopilot, still a silent understudy. Funny how the opposite will throttle, and the difference from the model to the prison.
Fucking that cadence is crazy.
Gonna wanna, coulda, shoulda, woulda, didn't, isn't it amusing? Choosing it, a plan is hibernating, waiting till the mating.
This music is really kind of like, hip hop is really responsible for radicalizing me in a lot of ways and thinking of art in different ways that were counter to popular culture. And the time this came out, man, it was like 1999, 2000, something like 2000, right? And so, that's my like 11th grade year of high school, and that's where you kind of begin to find yourself and develop your own thoughts, perhaps start to really understand some of the things that were taught to you when you were younger, or start to move away from those things. And to me at the time, like, the cats that were hot were like the hot boys, and I was counter to that. So a lot of the homies, they're rocking with that, they're enjoying that, a lot of sisters enjoying that too. And we had our guys like Wu who were still doing things, but I started to feel as though they were being a little bit too captured by the popular mass culture aspect of things. And I was really with the idea that independent art and owning your shit was where to go, and also not trying to please the masses by making fucking the single for the album to get girls, or orchestrating your albums like that. And this album was just a testament to me that you could do something completely different with the the ethics of hip-hop culture and still really just drive home some weird shit. And Aesop Rock to this day remains one of the unique stylers, and I'll agree with Lupe Fiasco, I'll agree with Curly Castro and Prim Rock and Zilla Rocca and in Alaska, that he is one of the greatest MCs of all time. Like, in terms of technical ability, the approach, the cadences, the styling, he can do everything. And I really fucking rock. I rock with Aesop Rock. And on top of that, and speaking of music hitting you at a certain time, it is also later this month will be the 20th anniversary of Bazooka Tooth, which is his third album, major album, LP. And to me, Bazooka Tooth, first off, the name is live. You know what I mean? The name is live. And I got this album from a leak or some shit. My brother Kari, I was staying in North Carolina at the time. My brother Kari was living in Virginia. He drove down. He got the leak and he drove down just to listen to it with me like 3 months before the shit dropped. And we were wilding out because we were both big Aesop Rock fans. Shout out to my brother Kari, ex Don Blaze. Much love to you, brother. And shit, like Bazooka Tooth, to me, that felt like the first definitive Jux album from Aesop Rock because it had kind of the earmarks and the demarcations of that weird, like, production style that LP comes with on your Cannibal Ox or on the previous Company Flow stuff, or you know, Definitive Jux Presents the Camuteo and fucking Masai Bay. Sonically, Bazooka Tooth just sounded like so wild and crazy to me. And also a lot of those beats are Aesop's, and the way that album flows, I know that there's a lot of issues with it. A lot of people don't feel it for the production and also some of the things that he did with his voice, like doubling up the vocals with kind of a weird like echo to it. But man, I really fuck with that album. I remember going to see him perform in Los Angeles with my brother Satoru, my brother Sat, and we drank like 2 bottles each of fucking Robitussin, and we were wilding for the night. It's downtown Los Angeles. I forget where that shit was at, but fucking but yeah, it was great, and it was the first time that I went to like a big underground hip hop event, because I had been to, like, maybe it wasn't the first time, but I had been to like hip hop shows. I've been to, you know, Freestyle Fellowship and B-Boy Summit, where it's all hip hop people in the crowd, and you go to a Hyro show and it's like, you know what I mean, there's mad people in there, but it's also like there wasn't fandom like that. So when Definitive Jux started blowing up, I was seeing people in there who didn't seem like hip hoppers to me at all. Like, didn't seem like hip hop fans. They were there for the music, and you're allowed to do that or whatever. But I remember just chilling and watching, like, particularly these 3 white girls were dressed like they were going to the club, and they were dancing with, like, you know, sexually provocative to fucking Coma and to, you know what I mean, like Mars Attacks type of shit. And I was just like, yo, this shit is very strange to me, but I had a great time. And listening to Aesop Rock's Breath Control, that was the first time I seen him perform live, which is dope. Smoke a cigarette outside with the folks, and I didn't meet him. I've never actually had a real conversation with dude other than Peace, but he remains one of the illest, man. And it's just, you know, on my podcast, Make a Late Show, I used to constantly do like 20-year anniversary, 19-year anniversary, and have retrospectives on these things, and I can't pinpoint any of them in particular to you guys on the old back catalog of Mega Late Show Tokyo. But man, it's like I love to think about the context of things and the stories of things in where they sit in history, man. Both of those albums are big favorites for me. And I actually, after Bazooka Tooth, man, I didn't like Fast Car, Fire and Knives all that much. I didn't like None Shall Pass all that much. I didn't really love another Aesop album until like Hail Mary Malin or Skeleton. And now I feel like his career, for me as a fan, has kind of bounced back to a degree, and I really do like most of his modern stuff. Spirit World Field Guide, kind of, I don't go back to it because I think I'm in my spade bag here, but there was a problem with the mixing on that. Like, the vocals sound way tinny, and I heard that there was a problem with his microphone, like Denser was fucked up or whatever. But it's abrasive to me to listen to, and that's why I don't be hating on Spade for his takes most of the time. But yeah, Spirit World Field Guy, while the album is crazy, the vocals and production and the themes and the concept of the tracks is dope. I just don't. Yeah, I can't get back to that one. But I hear that there's a new Aesop Rock joint coming out soon. I'll be surprised if it happened this year. I'll be tremendously happy. Still one of my favorites, man. Last and not least, I guess, shit, like, shout out to all the patrons. Shout out to the people coming to the channel. I especially love to see, you know, I look back and I'll like sort the messages by like first 100 people, you know, who are on the show and shit. And I'll see our guys like Ishmael Bennett, man. Like, I see him just comment on the Theravada album. I think he's really going to like that NASA, Uncommon NASA joint. You know, I've been going back and forth in the comments with some people about the Noname joint, which is, you know, it's cooling, we cooling. And Noah 23 showed up in the comments along with some of the producers that were on his album yesterday, or actually this morning. I seen Illingsworth show up. And while we don't do this to get like pat on the back by the artist, and we don't like not give our honest opinion just because the artist might see it. You know, we're always real honest about this shit. It's really dope to see them come in because I'm Grand Mega Flowers for 2 reasons. One, I like to give flowers, and 2, shout out to Grandmaster Flowers. You know, that pre hip hop shit. If you know, you know. But yeah, man, I love to give them flowers. Illingsworth is dope. Noah is dope. Theravada. All these cats, man. Thank you guys for tuning in and supporting independent underground hip hop. Stay on your reading. Stay, you know what I mean. Stay awake. But don't be so woke that you get delirious, man. You fucking do the knowledge, do the reading, and yeah. Applause to you guys. Applause to all of y'all. I'll go ahead and end it off right with this. I just wanted to kind of jump in, and I actually ended up speaking a lot more than I expected. But yeah, word, peace.